knowing that because of the timing, there may not have been a lot of time to work with faculty on remote learning and develop those online courses, as well as knowing that there's probably going to be social distancing still in place and that many of the schools may not have the classroom capacity to have all of the students on campus at one time. So here is a scenario that is possible. So Steve, if you would advance one slide for us. Okay. So the high school class, and I have the asterisk by the word class because of course the students would need to meet either the GPA or the assessment and placement benchmarks, and Shelby will talk a little bit more about that later on in our presentation. But that class enrolls in a Gateway dual credit course, and that could be an English course. It could also be the English plus our support course. It could be music. We actually have 100 courses developed using Quality Matters, and we're going to share that list with you to see which of those may fit into your curriculum. The Gateway's instructor credentialed instructor would be our instructor of record, and the role of the high school teacher would be they would be providing either support or enrichment lessons, but we could actually enroll them in the online course as a teacher assistant, so they would have access to the materials and the teacher's grade. So you have two instructors providing support for students. All right. Next slide, please, Steve. So how could this offer flexibility? Well, if this academic year was pushed to maybe after Labor Day, we already have a 12-week start session built, and so all of our courses would be proportioned out for that 12-week start. Oh, one more slide, please. So even if it was a 12-week start, there could be, again, restrictions with social distancing, and that online course would allow students, part of them to come on Monday and Wednesday at the high school, and on Tuesday and Thursday they would do remote instruction, and then of course if you had an A and a B team, they would just flip-flop. And if the unfortunate event would be that we'd have to go completely off campus, of course the online course is built just for that, so the entire course could be remote. Your faculty members could check in synchronously with your class. I think the options are essentially endless and could be customized to meet the needs of your school district. So why Gateway courses over other online courses? Steve's going to talk a little bit, Steve or Doug are going to talk a little bit about the quality of the Gateway courses.
Hi, this is Doug Phoenix again. I'm going to talk a little bit about the quality. First, we use credential faculty for all of our courses, and I'll explain a little bit more why we make that distinction. And of course, all the credits work towards post-secondary credentials. So the students that are working as high school students, of course, will be getting college credit for the dual credit courses. At Gateway, we use a master course approach, and so what that simply means is when we have a English 101, for example, developed, that is the English 101 for the college. So we don't have multiple versions of that same course. We use a master course, and why that's important is we developed that course under very, very stringent guidelines using different course rubrics like Quality Matters as well as the Blackboard Exemplary Course Program. So the courses are developed under that model, and we also use a course template. So when students learn how one of Gateway courses work, they all work very similarly, so they'll be very recognizable. So we have found great success using this model, and we will continue to work in that fashion. We use embedded e-content when possible, so students don't have to worry about getting a textbook to go along with the course. It's already embedded in the course. We also have embedded support. We have an embedded librarian program, so if a course requires some research work, a librarian is in the course and actually works right alongside the faculty member teaching. Students find great help from that assistance. We also have embedded tutoring, so tutors will be embedded as well. And students also have access to a tool that we call BrainFuse, and it's a 24 hours a day tutoring support. So that's also available to them. We also have Blackboard assistance 24 hours a day, and additional assistance is also available from the Center for E-Learning during normal business hours. So we have a lot of opportunities for technical assistance if that's necessary for the students. And the last bullet there, we just want to share some of our data. 79% of our high school students have been successful in our online courses. So so far we've had great success with our program. Steve?
Thank you, Doug. I'm going to take everyone through just a quick tour. Give me 1 second, I'll share my screen. So as Doug said, all of our courses are built using a template. Once a student gets used to one of our courses, everything's going to look very similar as they proceed through other online courses that we offer. This is our Bio 112 course. When students first click in, this is the home page that they will see. There are some modules here where they will be able to see most recent announcements and any assignments that are coming up due. All of our instructors set due dates for their homework, and those due dates are reminded here. They're reminded, students are reminded on their calendar within Blackboard. And at the top, they also have a phone number and email address to contact the Center for E-Learning should they have any difficulty, right front and center. As students click into the different modules of course content, they're going to see a very consistent layout. We have our introductions, we have essential questions or objectives, and then we get into learning activities. This particular course is broken up into individual topics within the modules. And we go through all of the different content that's offered throughout the course. And in this layout that we have, readings, videos, assignments is consistent and repeated throughout the course and all of our courses, so students can get used to that. On the left side, we also have a listing of information that will be helpful to students. Doug mentioned that we have tutoring, the online tool called BrainFuse is linked right here. We have an Ask Your Professor section where students can go in and they can use a discussion board to ask their professor and peers, send an email directly, and also access the faculty information page for information like their office hours, office phone number, office location, if they're full-timers on campus, or other ways that the faculty will
is it like a worker?
Have contact with instructors, or excuse me, with students.
There's a cabinet.
And then as we go through, we have a help and student resources section where students can get assistance, whether it's from us locally at the Center for E-Learning or our 24-hour help desk. And we also have some campus IT support, browser support, and general information. That's just a really quick tour, kind of a high-level overview of our one of our courses. Blackboard's in process of updating to a new version. It's a little bit more ADA compliant and mobile friendly, but we have carried over the same information from all of our existing course templates so that it will still have the same familiar feel to students once they click in, and they'll be able to have access to all of the same support resources that they've had before. So while things have to change because Blackboard's making some changes, we're doing our best to keep all of our high quality course development processes in line. So with that, I will turn it back over to the to Doug or whoever's coming up next.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's you, Shelby, right?
It is.
All right.
So I just wanted to cover the waiver piece that KCTCS has created a waiver due to the issue with students not being able to take their ACT, or maybe they took the ACT and it wasn't the highest. The assessment and placement waiver that we currently have in place is for summer 2020 through summer 2021. So students that maybe didn't have a chance to get better test scores or didn't have a chance to test, we are able to go ahead and place them according to their current high school GPA, and that's weighted or unweighted. So what we would need to do is, if a student is interested, they would apply, and we would just have to get an unofficial transcript from you, the high school, to see what courses we could put them in. Now, we have reading, English, and math. Those are the type of courses that we have, and so we would look at the GPA and decide for each level which class they could go into. For classes like a history or sociology, we would look at their reading score, and they have to have a 2.6 GPA at their high school. If they wanted to go on and take like an English 101 or a communication class, they would have to have a 2.8. And then when we're looking at math scores, it kind of depends. We have some classes that could use a 2.6 GPA, and then we have other courses that they would need a 3.0 GPA. So when a student is interested, it kind of all depends on what their GPA is. Now, again, if students have ACT scores and we can place them that way, we'll still do that. We also have EdReady, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but EdReady is Gateway's current placement tool. And EdReady is a really interesting tool because a student can take it currently at home. They register through Gateway, and it's on our website. It's a very easy link to get to, and then they can take it at their home location. So the student sits down and takes the initial test, and it will show them, do they place into courses or do they still need some remediation? Well, from there, a student can log in a little bit later, and there's something called study paths that they can work on. So let's say in math, a student did not place at benchmark, but they feel like they've covered some of this information and they just need a refresher. Well, their study path, let's say in percentages, will go over all the information, and they use Khan Academy as some of their content. Student would finish the study path. At the very end, they're able to kind of test with a couple of questions. If they show that they've mastered the content, then their score goes up. So a student could potentially not benchmark on the initial test, but then do a little work on their own and be at benchmark. So EdReady is free. All the student has to do is have already applied to Gateway, and again, Gateway application is free. And then they go on and they log on or set up an EdReady test on their own through our website. The cost for dual credit next year is changing just a little bit. It will move from the 1/3 tuition to 40% of the KCTCS rate. We currently don't know what the KCTCS rate is. That should come here within the next couple of weeks. But moving forward, starting in the fall, the tuition will be at 40% our Gateway rate. And the next steps, if your school is interested in taking part in these online classes, I would just need to get in contact with either your college readiness person or your counselors to figure out what type of student are we looking at, how many students do we need an entire class just for your school, or should we merge them with 2 schools so that we can fill a class. But just if you want to contact me with your information, and we can go from there.
All right, thank you, Gateway team. Any questions from our secondary partners? And it looks like some of you have been kicked out and rejoining us. We did record this session, so we will send it out after we break.
Terry, I've got a question.
Yeah, Mike.
Are you planning on this also going along with some of the current on-campus classes, like the early college and those? Is this kind of the plan for where we'll go if need be in the fall as well?
Yes, you know, all of our face-to-face courses have a strong Blackboard component already, and again, that's why we were able to transition off campus so easily. If we know early that the high schools are going to be starting, say, in the 12-week session, and they want this level of flexibility, we would definitely work with Dr. Santos in determining the best way if we go ahead and enroll them on the online course, or if the faculty members feels like they have a strong enough online component to their face-to-face. But ideally, we would make that decision sooner rather than later, so that if the faculty member wanted the online course, we went ahead and enrolled them into that at the beginning, so we're not merging 2 classes together.
Okay. And then just one more. I know you noticed that in the fall of 19, you had a really good success rate, about 79–80%. Did you find similar in the spring when basically the world shut down and kids, everything was way more remote and high schools lost contact. Did you find a similar success rate, or that's still yet to be determined?
Dr. Sanchez pulled that data, and so Susan, if you could comment.
Yes, I haven't pulled spring yet because not all of the grades are in. There's a little higher rate of incomplete contracts, giving students a chance to finish out the course. So it should be available soon.
Mike, I think it's important to note also that, you know, the intentionality, if we would make the decision up front that we would have the high school teacher supporting, as well as the gateway instructor, as well as the embedded online tutoring. I think knowing that if that's the platform that high schools are going to use, we know where to target the support.
Yeah, I agree. I just was wondering because, yeah, just a lot of changes happened pretty fast, and if it's still carried on with about the same success. So,
Well, anecdotally, when I met with instructors and asked them about their classes, and particularly asked, how about your dual credit students? Most of them replied that dual credit fared very well. I don't have the numbers on it, but just in talking with the instructors, most of the time I received that reply.
good deal. Thank you.
Other questions? Okay, well, hearing none, you can always reach out to Shelby or myself, anybody actually on this team, and we are always here to assist you. Again, I will send out the YouTube video of this presentation, so please feel free to share within your school districts if someone was not able to attend. We wish you all the best as you plan for the fall, and know that we are here always to support you and the students of our region. Take good care. Have a good day.